And if I give you 10 guesses, you will not see this move. I'm going to give you a clue anyway. The London system is one of the most popular ways to set up with the white pieces. So with black, it's just so important that you guys know how to deal with it. In this video, we're going to see a brilliant game by one of the best players in the world, Fabiano Caruana from the USA. And then in the final moments of the video, I'm going to show you 2 bonus tactics. There are just so many games from the FIDE Chess World Cup. And I found 2 really good tactics. One of them featuring Magnus Carlsen and the Indian player Sarin. So we're going to get to that pretty soon. With the white pieces, his opponent is Mikhail Dishvili, top player from Georgia. You can see there's a big rating gap between them. It's about 200 and 21 FIDE points. Big difference. So we're going to see the difference in class between them. So we take it from the top, the London system. We have d4, knight f6, and white plays bishop f4. Caruana goes d5. And after e6, one of the best ways to play against London is actually to get rid of this c7 pawn. He plays c5, offers a central trade. Knight c6, take, and you know this London bishop is so strong. Time to challenge it straight away. Now we can play a normal move like bishop d6 where you do offer a trade. But then this knight move happens. Turns out Caruana challenges the knight first. I would give this a double exclamation mark. You might be thinking he's being a bit too generous. Yes, I am. This is opening theory nowadays. It's one of the best ways to set up. You attack the London bishop, then you control the square. You actually take over the diagonal. A couple moves ago, this bishop controlled this long diagonal. So now what? Well, white plays knight e5, queen attacks the knight, it drops back. And after this move, it just looks like white has a wonderful position where you're just defending your central knight. So for example, this looks amazing. Bishop here. Bishop's just slicing the board, so no way was Caruana going to allow this. Queen out to b6, normal move. Because the London bishop has left the c1 square, this spot is vulnerable. Queen b3 played. You don't want to play a move like b3. That pawn is now weak. A queen trade is now offered. And if I give you 10 guesses, you will not see this move. I'm going to give you a clue anyway. No. I'm going to give you a clue anyway. This knight is so strong, you want to attack it. What do you mean? We take it with the bishop or the knight? No. You challenge it by getting this knight out the way, and you guys might be thinking, knight here, a trade could happen, but then this pawn is a bit weak. Turns out Caruana, one of the best prepared players in the world, this dude, he just retreated the knight back to his starting square. If you guys turn on the engine, it turns out it is the best option. The point of this move is later you're going to go f6. I've never ever seen this type of move before. So I'm glad that you've stuck around to move 11 to see this, to witness what a wonderful retreating move. Bishop d3, knight h6. Queens come off. Now when this capture happens, bear this in mind, there's some pressure. It just looks pretty good to me. I mean, look at all this central control. Kick the knight away, it drops back. Bishop d7. Mikhail's position looks fine. It's just equal. We're going to see the difference in class now. Also, I think black's structure is more dynamic. Doubled pawns are actually an asset for black. We're going to see this pretty soon. So, if you look at all of white's pawns, they all defend each other. Castle. That's why the dude went a3. So then, when you castle, this rook doesn't take the a pawn. Okay, so what? Knight a5 coming in. b5. That's the point. Bishop now defends the pawn. Knight c4. You don't want to take this because now you've just got so much central control. You just leave the knight there. Rook e1. You're not going to play this move because that knight was so strong and this bishop is doing nothing. So you keep the knight there. Bishop e8. Rerouting idea. Caruana finds a better spot for this dead bishop. Knight b3, we can come in, but b6 just guards the square. Bishop gets out of the way, rook hits the pawn, and now bishop f7. Rook e8, defending it. Then later, Caruana can come out and attack. Slowly, he is just building his position. Knight c1, knight f5. If you look at the two knights, they look like they are on very strong spots. Turns out, white can actually attack. White can capture either knight, but then he just loses some central control. Bishop f2, bishop f8, just hanging around. It's an amazing journey for the knight. You're going to retreat to d6, going to come into e4. So, for example, if you just kept playing nothing moves, the knight goes back. Bishop h5 is possible. And now you just come in. What a cool way to reroute and then finding a new spot for the bishop. Now, back to the game. Turns out Mikhail actually got rid of this knight. But there is just so much control. It's a beautiful game. Knight b3. If we look at the green arrows, you can see so much central control over the white squares. The blue arrows show control over the dark squares. The red arrows show the fact that the bishops can just come in the game, controlling so many squares. All these pieces are really huddled up within this rectangle. Now, black's pieces are all on the back, but the pawns just control so many spots. They really do restrict the knights. Now, g5 getting more space. The knight goes to e3. Now, you can trade, but Caruana plays a very useful move. Bishop out to h5, hit the rook, and then bishop f3. Really cool tactical moment. Can't do this because you will just lose the knight. So bishop f3 is a class move. A capture happens, but then it does improve the structure. Knight goes to d2. You hit the bishop. Bishop e2. That's much better than this. Check. You can take, and then something like this. I mean, this pawn is so strong, but is it enough to win? Caruana understands the fact that I'm going to keep the bishop. I'm going to just keep controlling so many white squares. It's just a beautiful game. Knight goes back to f1, but doesn't really have that much of a future. Pawns come off. These two pawns look pretty ugly. If I draw these arrows a little bit better, maybe we can say so much central control from the bishop with the pawns here. And then, yeah, we control the dark squares, restricting the bishop. This bishop can come in the game, and that's exactly what it does now. It hits the pawn, it defends, king f7, why? Class move here, h5, because that pawn, yeah, you want to hit the bishop, get very strong pawns just rolling. That rook can't join in the attack. Join in the defense, I mean. Class game. Knight b1. You can't actually move this knight. You can't push the pawn because that drops. Don't want to go here because en passant, and then it still drops. What else can white do? Can't really move the rook. There's no point. The rook can't move. The bishop is basically a big pawn. The knight is restricted by the bishop. You look at all of black's pawns controlling lots of light squares along with the bishop. This guy teams up. Attacking this here, you got the file. This rook can go here. It's just a masterpiece of a game. You can see the entire board covered by arrows, and just want to show you so much control. Knight goes back to b1. You hit the bishop, then you come in, and then you hit the rook, and then bishop d3. The guy had enough. He had enough. He just resigned. If you take. I mean, what can he do? Rook f2. I think there's a really cool finish here. You can just play a normal move like bishop here, and then the bishops look absolutely gorgeous. You're just going to run it home, but there's a cool tactic here. Rook going to e1. Now, the knight can come back in the game, but if it doesn't, then we got check. And then, oh yes, that was a bit silly of me. The bishop hits the rook, so maybe move the rook away. If you do nothing, check, and that is mate. So just going back a little bit, I think I was being a bit careless in this moment. You can just go bishop here and then just run the dude home. You can barely stop it. You got company. The rook can come back in. The guy just had enough. If you don't want this knight to come back in the game, you can chop it off, but I don't see the point. So it's just total domination. If we go back to this moment, rook here. Bishop f4, hit the rook, bishop d3. If they come off, take here. Already bishop here looks pretty good. Yeah, you just run it home. Run it home. Pretty good. So the guy had enough. Caruana goes through 2-0 against a top player from Georgia. Now, as promised, we've got some bonus puzzles to look at. Now, first, we have Sarin's puzzle. Then we'll have Magnus's game against his opponent, Pensalia. So let's quickly go there. We're going to take it from this moment. So Sarin is playing a top player from Paraguay, Axel Bachmann. And we're going to take it from this moment. Check, rook g2, and yeah, absolutely stunning tactic. So firstly, Sarin does the professional thing. He repeats once just to get a bit of time. And now it's probably one of the best moves I've ever seen. Absolutely stunning. So the reason you want to go for checkmate on the back, but the rook is there. So here you just play this stunning move, which looks like it doesn't work at all. I just can't believe this move even works because it's actually guarded. This square is guarded by the knight and the rook, and you still play it. Doesn't make any sense. Now, if you play rook takes, then we go check. Now you have to take, and then that is mate. That is mate. So, you take them with the knight, and now you can't take. And this is the stunning thing. You're actually going to use this pin. Then you bring in the rook. I've never seen a tactic that's beautiful. Where you sacrifice the rook, then the other rook comes in, and then it's using a pin. Now, if you go here, that's mate. Oh, no, even better. What am I doing? Check. And then here. Which was what was seen just before. So when the rook steps up, then the queen actually comes into f1. There's no good defense. That's the amazing thing. If you go here, you just take it. You're still using the pin. Absolutely brilliant move. So after this, well, the guy just repeats one. It's just such a professional thing to do. Then the dude comes in, and now he allows mate. How nice. Rook g1, you're pinning yourself. It's just mate in one. Very nice smothered mate. Knight f2, game over. And the final one with Magnus. Here we go. So he's got white against Levan Pensalia, top player from Georgia. And blunder occurred with rook d7, and here we go. We're going to end the video with this stunning tactic. Can you see it? I'll give you guys 5 seconds. And you know what? This is not easy. It's not easy at all. Forget it, man. Forget it. I'm going to give you the first move, and then I want you to see the following sequence. So Magnus, he's just a crazy dude here. He just sacrifices the rook. Turns out the king is actually pretty weak on the back. You just go check. And then Pensalia resigned. After this, you need to find a way to come in. And we've got a few different angles. We're going to go check. If you block with the knight, it's actually check again here. You might be thinking, so what? This. I want you to see the final move, guys. The final stunning move. I'll give you guys 5 seconds. Or else it just looks like black's found a way to defend. Can you see the knockout? Turns out it's mate on the back. Beautiful X-ray checkmate. Think of it like the rook is also going to take the knight. Can't come out due to the knight. Check. And then mate. What a stunning tactic. No wonder his opponent resigned. Not giving Magnus the pleasure of playing such a beautiful finish. Let's just check that out one more time. We're going to go rook check. You're going to go check. Can't block with the rook. If you go king here, it's actually even worse. The queen is going to go to the back anyway, and then it's mate anyway. So if we go back a couple moves here, check. You can't block with the knight because, oh, it's the same thing. The queen goes. I was just thinking this might win the queen. No, no, no. You don't win the queen. You just win the king. The queen is coming to a8 anyway. Absolutely stunning games in the World Cup so far. Fabiano Caruana taking down the London, and then we saw 2 absolutely brilliant tactical finishes. Welcome to the FIDE Chess World Cup. I'll see you later.